Welcome, So-La-Rah here. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're faring well in the aftermath of the most recent full moon. I took a little bit of time away, just a couple of days, because that energy was very, very intense. I know we've all experienced it in different ways, but I can say that moon was a grand moon for purging, for purging a lot, and it's purging in order to make the way clear for your next chapter and your next journey. And so for all of us, it's happening on different levels, different planes in connection with where you are on your own healing journey. So for some of you, the purging may have been purely spiritual, and you may or may not have fully experienced it. For others of you, it may have been a mental purging. For others, it might have been that you might have experienced it more succinctly in your emotions. And for some of you, it might have affected you on physical levels. And that is only testament to the areas where energies are being shifted in order for you to move forward. And for some of you, maybe you felt it in all areas because this moon was really helping us to come into alignment with our highest possible reality based upon how we chose to navigate the energies. And whenever you are dealing with the energy of jumping into a higher timeline, you will always have to deal with the resistance that kept you out of it originally. So don't be afraid when you go through heavy purges. It means that you are preparing yourself, for as long as you stay mentally and emotionally aligned, you are actually preparing yourself for a grander jump. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, but before I get into these energies, I have a few downloads. There's something very specific that I've been shown that I want to go into, so I don't know if I'm going to get into all the downloads I have, but before I even do any of that, I want to welcome you to my channel. Thank you for being here. Thank you if you are a returning subscriber. Thank you if you've been here from day one or you've joined somewhere along the way. Welcome if it's your first time here. I invite you to stick around. If the title was what attracted you, then I suggest that you stay and hear the messages. And if you vibe with my energy, and only if you vibe with my energy, I invite you to do the YouTube thing to like, to share, and to even subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I post. I want to say thank you once again to all of you for getting me to 10K. I have slashed all of my services down by 10% for the month of October. It just seemed fitting. 10K. I got to 10K about 10 months after posting the first message on this site, and we are entering into the 10th month. And so it just seemed fitting to extend to all of you a 10% discount on all of my services on purchases made in the month of October, even if you're not able to book them for October. For as long as you purchase between now and the 31st of October or the 1st of November, I'm honoring that as my way of spreading the love and just saying thank you. Please stay tuned. I will have other giveaways coming throughout the month, including a free one-to-one mentorship. I just need to balance myself in other areas right now before I do that, because oftentimes there's an onslaught of emails I have to deal with when I take that on. But please stay tuned, watch the community board. I will announce it here also, how to qualify for a free reading. Qualify isn't the right word, but you get what I'm saying. What else? I have introduced a brand new reading on my site. Feel free to check it out. I am offering now tarot astrology readings that are personal and are geared towards the astrology that occurs every new or full moon, meaning that if you want to know how your chart is being affected by the full or the new moon, and you want information on that, but also if you want to know even how to prepare yourself for those energies on a personal level with energy work and ritual advice, I am offering that service now. I only ask that if you avail yourself of that, that you give me enough time. It's a 5 to 7 working day return, so you need to schedule accordingly with whatever moon you're wanting this for. I'm putting it out there especially because we have an eclipse coming. We have 2 eclipses coming up. We have one on, I think, Saturday the 14th of October, and then we have one at the end of October. A full moon in Taurus is going to be an eclipse too. So for those of you who are interested very specifically in how the eclipse is going to have an effect on you personally, based upon the tarot astrology of the personal tarot astrology of your own chart in comparison with what is occurring at that time in the skies, then I suggest that you contact me before this Friday. As I record this video, it is Wednesday, October the 4th, so I would need your order in by Friday, October the 6th, if you want to avail yourself of the personal tarot astrology for this upcoming eclipse, the new moon in Libra. Okay, so I have that, and I have another more general reading. I have a lot of people asking me about general readings. I tend to not really do them so much. My preference is to do one-to-one mentorship, but I have just brought forth a new offering in my services. I'm calling it my Divine Alignment readings, and that is where I will do a reading for you to figure out where you are or what it is you need to come into deeper alignment with where you are on your journey or where it is you're desiring to go. So for me, the reason why I don't do personal readings and I choose mentorship is because I like people to make tangible progress. And I find, and I've done, personal readings in the past, I found that people would keep returning to me, or that people liked being in the loop of the story, and I'm not interested in participating in keeping you stuck. I want to see you move forward, because when you move forward, we all move forward. This is what this is about. Ascension, the new earth. When we heal, we help the collective to heal. So please make sure to check out my new services. And those are all the announcements I have. I want to thank all of you for all of your support in whatever way you show it, or however you're able to show it, whether it's through a like, a share, a comment, words of encouragement. You guys are amazing. Purchasing my services or the donations to my work in the channel. I really do appreciate all the ways that you sow into me, and you help me to increase in my own value so that I have more to give to you and offer to the collective also. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to get into some of this energy because, every time we have a full moon, a new moon, the fuckery abounds, and even when you get to a certain, state where you are highly aware of what is going on and you have done a lot of clearing in your fields, it doesn't mean that you don't still become a target, and it doesn't mean that you still don't deal with residual energies, because the truth of the matter is, like I always tell you guys, the attacks are the activations. So in other words, the attacks for most of us will cease once we've done the hard work of reclaiming the fullness of our own shadows in order to also access our light. When we are in the fullness of self, these energies can't really move us, which is why with every attack, the effects seem to weaken over time as you do the work, as you clear your fields, as you heal, as you call your power back, as you do all of the personal healing work that is necessary for your own individual journey to free yourself of all of these karmic ties and the spells that are connected through these karmic energies and these entities and these beings that have tried to come for you to keep you out of, the wholeness of your truth. As you do the work to ascend, they lose their power over you. But here's the interesting thing, is just because they lose their power over you, again, it doesn't mean they stop, but it also, what I'm finding very interesting is that oftentimes they'll come even harder. They'll come at you even harder. But when they come at you even harder, because you've done a certain level of clearing, cleansing, rising into your truth, it doesn't affect you. You can feel the intensity of the work sometimes. You really can. You can feel how there have been energies sent to destroy and to bring endings and to put death to everything. You feel it, and you're shown it. And intuitively you're guided. Your guides tell you and show you, and yet there are minimal things that occur, and you know what you have to do. You're intuitively guided, and that doesn't mean you don't fall into states of fear or despair or doubt. That's normal. You're also, having a human experience, but at the end of the day, you always overcome and you rise above the energy. And so, well done. Well done. But I want to talk about it because the reason I'm bringing this up is because this full moon in Aries, it feels like there were energies where it's like they went all out for some of you. And they went all out also because it feels like this full moon in Aries energy, a lot of the rituals were built upon also the equinox energies, and they're also building up in order to bring in more drama through the eclipse. Okay, now the best way to understand and overstand an attack is to know what planetary energies are actually wanting to accomplish for you on your ascension. Because if you know what these energies are wanting to accomplish for you on your ascension, then you know the areas, or you know exactly what it is they're trying to attack. So for example, the equinox energies and Libra season is ultimately here to bring you into this sense of cohesion. Okay, it's you've been 6 months through the astrological year. You're halfway through the zodiac wheel. It's a really major checkpoint, and the equinox is here to bring equilibrium. It's here to and when I say equilibrium, I'm not talking about equalizing you where you are so much as it is to help you find a new balance in accordance with what it is you've integrated over the past 6 months. And indeed, because of where we are on this ascension, this lifetime and lifetimes before, the equinox energies are here to give you a new balance that helps you to align with a higher expression of your truth. And as such, it is by design that you are supposed to jump higher. But like I said to you at the beginning of the video, every time you make a magnanimous, energetic jump, you must overcome all of the resistance that kept you from being there in the first place. On top of all of the energies, the resistance is within, but it's also the energies that have wanted to keep you from getting here too. So if you are able to mentally and emotionally attune yourself to that fact that you are, like in the Bible, there's a verse that goes, when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of God raises up a standard of righteousness. Like a standard for me is like a new, I keep on hearing the word threshold. It's like a new threshold. It's like a new height that the enemy has to reach. And so the illusions right now are at an all-time high. And I say that because the illusion is the main illusions that these energies that are at war with you, whether they're operating through individuals, jumping entities, groups, corporations, factions, orders, covens, you know who you're dealing with. Doesn't really matter who so much as you get how the energy is moving, right? These beings, groups, whatever you want to call them, they want you in a state of believing that when the energy shifts for you to jump, that the chaos and conflict that comes forth because a new standard is being opened up for you, they want you to believe that chaos and that conflict is a sign that you're going backwards or that you don't have what it takes. And the way you ride the wave forward, the way you get higher, is by holding on to all the truth you've already had to fight mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even physically to accrue at this point about who you are. Because here's another thing that's happening right now. There are a lot of, it's like your solar codes that came through the 8-8 portal, the Galactic New Year. A lot of those solar codes at this point are being activated, okay? And when I say activated, I mean the truth of who you are. Many of you are going to be receiving uploads right now, remembrances right now. And that would be the beginning of the upload phase of some of the solar codes that came through on the Galactic New Year at the end of July. Okay? And so from the standpoint of the energy harvesting calendar of the Matrix, there are already programs that are set to kind of deter that. I'm not going to get too deep into that right now today, but this is where we are in the energy harvesting calendar. It's really to this equinox energy. It almost will always, equinox and solstice, but especially equinox, is when they try to pull us back into like this grand reset energy, where it's like they wipe the slates clean of your remembrance of who you are and what you have accomplished in your divinity up until this point. And they do that through, casting all manner of illusions, media, the skies, chemicals, all manner of fuckery, because they go from all angles, right? And the whole point is to get you into a lower state whereby you are doubting and questioning your reality. I hope that makes sense, okay? So when you get what the energy of the zodiac signs are, you can better get what the attacks might be about. So the Aries energy, one area where my guides were really showing me a lot of work had been done through this full moon. So Aries rules over the head, but Aries also rules over your arteries. And your arteries are they are the main, I don't want to call them veins, but they are the main, I guess I'm going to call them veins. I can't think of another word, but they are the main veins within your circulatory system that then branch out into smaller, like capillaries and groups of smaller veins in order to circulate around your body. But the arteries are like the main juncture through which your blood flows through the entirety of your body, and then everything else branches off of them, if that makes sense. So when you think about that on a physiological level, that is the circulation of your blood. Why is that important? Your blood, the circulation of your blood serves many purposes. It's there to get oxygen to every single one of your cells. It's there to keep your metabolic functions in balance, meaning to clear out waste and to bring in fresh resources, right? It's there to ultimately carry all of that stuff. So it's about the circulation of energy and resources, right? So when you think about that on an energetic level, you take out physiology and you think about just energy and what they might use that energy for. The redirection. It's all about the circulation of energy. What I've been noticing is a lot of this moon has been about redirecting. It's like, for many of you, they cannot at this point straight up affect you mentally and emotionally, even though that's still part of the plan too. So what they're doing is, it's like they're trying to redirect opportunities away. And this is where you must stand in your power when you notice that happening, and you must clear that and call back your truth. You must clear it out. I've told you guys this before, I'll tell you again. Spells lose their power as the energy, as what it is they're trying to do is exposed. So when you see something and you call it out and you go to work against it, you will see the energy shift more quickly than if you don't do anything about it. If you just leave it, it will, for a lot of you, because of where you are, it might dissipate over time. It might. But again, these energies are things that they want to build and build and build upon. So for me, what I tell my clients when they come to me is, when you see something, you identify it and you do the work against it. Okay? So yeah, this Aries energy is about how things are distributed or circulated or directed. So a lot of it is about the redirection of flow. That's what I've been noticing, okay? So the equinox and the new moon in Libra are both energies that are here to bring in grand balance. But like I said to you before, they're here to rebalance you. They're here to bring in a new balance in accordance with where you choose to be energetically, where you say you are. Okay, so these energies want to bully you out of that place of ascension, so you go back into a state where you accept a reality, a persona, a matrix identity that is not in alignment with how far you've come, because also in doing that, you will not be able to claim the truth of the uploads or the information that's coming through by way of your golden solar codes that came through with the new galactic year, which is referencing and telling you a lot more about who you actually are in the cosmos. Okay? So you should know that, again, this is a recalibration. It's a recalibration that's here to benefit you, but it doesn't mean that these energies are not used sinisterly against you. So whenever there is a rebalancing or a recalibration, there is an opportunity to take advantage of the vulnerability of the time. Okay, so when you are going through any kind of recalibration, you are more vulnerable as a being. Your energy is more vulnerable. It is why at this place they take advantage of the fact that in terms of what the universe is wanting to provide for you is an opportunity for you to jump. But in order for you to jump, you have to be in that space of a little bit of chaos and conflict. And that chaos and conflict energy, no matter how it's presenting itself, whether it's within, without, through other beings, it's necessary in order for you to jump. But it's also a place of vulnerability for all of us, because none of us like to feel that way, especially for those of you who have been through so many heavy trauma cycles. The chaos and the conflict can re-traumatize. And these spells, these energies, these beings that are consciously inflicting this are very aware of this, which is why it's really important that you rise higher in your divine truth and deeper in your confidence. And in doing so, what you're going to find is that you start to stream in more information about who you are, the truth of who you are. So I don't think I want to get into this. Okay, I'm going to say this, but I'm not going to go too deep into it again. I'm sure I'm going to talk about it more over the next few months. But in the time leading up to the next solstice, which happens, December 20th, 21st, 22nd, around that 3-day window, it's a winter solstice for us in the north and summer solstice in the, for those of you south of the equator. So in the time leading up to the next solstice, it is in their interest, these beings, energies, factions, when you're dealing with, energy harvesting on a collective level, and then you're dealing with individuals who are personally trying to energy harvest you for their own collective purposes. It is in their interest to inflict fear, stress, and distractions, anything to magnify worry and keep the root perpetually unstable and therefore vulnerable. But this last moon was actually another great purge of this exact energy. So there was a lot clearing, I noticed, this moon from the root. A lot of root energies in general, a lot of root chakra energies. And whenever you're dealing with the crown, you're almost always dealing also, on the other hand, with the root too. But yes, This full moon, and then I'm going to get into what it is I'm here to tell you about. I have some other downloads for another reading that I'll do another day. But because this one, I feel like my guides are wanting me to get into it more. So this full moon, for as long as you've been doing the work of purging these energies instead of reclaiming them as your own, or, you know, falling into states of forgetting who you are, you know, this full moon has also been bringing higher activations for those of you who are here to enact karmic justice. Now, as we move into Libra season, we begin this this time of justice and judgment through Scorpio season. You know, where the focus is astrologically, because of Libra and Scorpio, on those energies, and even with, I think Pluto is going to be the next planet that is stationing to go direct at the end of October, I think. So Pluto is very concerned with judgment and rebirth and constructive destruction for that purpose, right? So what my guides have been showing me is that a lot of you, and I talked about this like I think 2 videos ago when I was speaking about how to bring karmic justice into your life in real time, and how I was saying to you that there are certain beings who, part of you know, karmic justice being brought in collectively, and even for some of us on a personal level, they have to wake up and remember who they are. It feels like this full moon actually brought in a lot of activations for those beings. So if you are a being who knows that you know, you are here to be karmic justice, to, like, in your energy, and or you've been being that, or even, you know, like, I see it a lot in personal tarot astrology, like markers of that. Then this full moon was here to help purge energies that were keeping you from the remembrance of who you are. In other words, purging you of energies that would stop you from receiving these codes and downloads that want to come in order to help, you know, turn the light on and help you remember and activate you deeper into that truth. And for those of you who already know that, there's still activations. They're taking you deeper, you know. So another thing I've been noticing, it's like, and my guides were showing me, this might be a message for you. If you have noticed on this full moon, you've had a lot of people wanting to come into your energy just to bring minor annoyances. Okay, and I'm talking especially strangers or people you haven't seen in a while. Okay, although it can be, you know, people who, you know, you know, socialize with or work people. But the point is that there are people who've been coming into your fields to kind of irk you. And I don't know how to explain it other than the whole point of them coming into your energy is to get a rise out of you. Okay, and some of them do it on purpose, you know, meaning that they are just those kinds of like cantankerous beings that like to do that kind of stuff to people, you know. But the point of the matter is that these people are coming on your pathway because you're here to bring forth karmic justice. And I'm talking about like little, like strangers, little things, like people who will do things that are just not nice, like cut you off in a line and know that they're doing it and not apologize. Like people who are just like obnoxious, the ones who are coming across your path right now, some of you, it's like an activation because you literally are here to bring justice, karmic justice in their realities. Now, I'm not saying the karmic justice you're bringing is because they did something small to you. No, but I am saying that you are the instrument through which karmic justice is coming for them, because it's long overdue, because the little thing they've done to you is small compared to some of the shit they've been doing to other people. So in other words, Divine beings, karmic judges, you're waking up and your energy is being activated. And just by going out and about and interacting with certain beings, you are bringing forth through your energy that karmic justice that is necessary collectively to rebalance the scales for us all. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that's another thing I was noticing. Yeah, so it's becoming more dangerous, you know, to come into the fields of certain divine beings if you are not truly walking in your authenticity. Because here's the thing, it's not about being perfect, it's about being authentic, right? Because people who are being authentic are not trying to mask themselves in states of deception and veils. The more people who are actively trying to stay in deception or to deceive others, the more that this is consciously do that, especially for the sake of appearing a certain way, the more this energy is ultimately dealing with them. It's dealing with them. And I'm talking about on an energetic level. I'm not saying instantly something's going to happen, although for some it might, but it's getting the ball rolling on what needs to happen for the continual exposure of these energies at every level. So the fact of the matter is that we're constantly activating one another and deactivating one another. Okay, it's just how our energy fields work, and it's always been this case. It's just that we're waking up to it and we're becoming more conscious of our power. So for example, I always like to use the example of when you walk by a baby and a baby smiles and laughs at you, and you don't know that baby from anywhere, but the baby smiles and laughs at you. That baby has recognized something in your energy. Okay, that baby is sending you some kind of an activation. And the way you know that you've been activated is when you walk away from that baby, you probably feel different than when you originally, before you saw the baby. You probably feel lighter. You probably feel happier. You can gauge on what an activation is doing to you or a deactivation is doing to you in accordance with how you're feeling. How does something or someone or a situation or a circumstance make you feel? That is a good gauge as to whether it's okay for your energy, and it's a good gauge as to what it's actually doing within your energy field too. Okay? Yes. So I'm going to get into exploring the reading now. So I have been getting a lot of downloads today about a situation with some of you who may have thought, and this is probably more for those of you who identify as being divine feminines, because this is a karmic masculine energy that you may have thought was divine at some point. So this again is just, you might not be dealing with this anymore. This may have happened years ago. It's just like some of the pieces are coming forth through me now. Maybe you're going to identify and resonate, maybe not. And that's okay. But a lot of the time when I'm being given these downloads, I'm being given stories, it's because something in that energy is shifting or coming to a close. Okay, so this might be confirmation for some of you that something has indeed closed, or something in that dynamic is shifting in order for some kind of closure to come. Okay, so this is for some of you who may have in the past, and it could have been in the recent past too, been at a gym. And you may have had some kind of an interaction with a male personal trainer who you thought was maybe your divine masculine. Okay, and why I'm saying this is because my guides were showing me something that was very interesting. They've been showing it, they've been unraveling it to me like over the past few months, because I only just returned to the gym back in the springtime after being a former gym bunny and like taking the time off very consciously for a couple of years in order to stop spiritually bypassing and to deal with my emotions and processing my emotions instead of running to the gym and you know, getting the endorphin rush. So when I re-entered the gym, I entered it with a completely different mindset in how I utilize the power of like working out, as well as with a completely different outlook on how things work. Okay, so gyms are really interesting places because they are hotbeds for energy harvesting. And I didn't go into this. I didn't go back into going to the gym knowing this. This is something that I've gotten an education on along the way. Because I noticed that around the full and the new moons, there are always certain beings that frequent where I am, and I pick up on energy, and I also get psychic downloads, and I see sometimes what people are trying to do in the spirit. And I've picked up on a few of these beings doing work around the full moon and the new moon, specifically in gym settings. And at first I thought, oh, this is just it. That's, like, it would make sense that you would come here, like, when you are training, especially when you're doing cardio, you're building up large amounts of energy, So it would make sense that would be a hotbed for energy harvesting, especially these gyms with global chains, okay? But what my guides were bursting open for me today is that some of these, there are personal trainers that target certain women for this purpose too, but they do it on behalf of some of these groups. Okay, so I want to say this while, like, maintaining a certain level of like decorum and, because anyway, let me just get into it. So where I go to, like the gym that I presently go to, I noticed that there was this trainer who he's always booked, and he's always booked for these classes that occur in the middle of the day. And so for me, I know what hour that is, the middle of the day gym, classes, especially like spin and stuff. I'm like, that's the Yummy Mummy crew. That is the bunch of women who either, they take the time out for themselves and their mothers, and they go and they work out quickly. They grab a class. Yes, there's some people who are doing that during work day, but I know from having, experienced going to several gyms at that time, being, formerly a student and having to fit a workout in the middle of the day too. I know that is an hour where a lot of the mothers tend to go and train, especially in the area that I live. And, but I didn't really put all of that together until later on, because I could never get into any of his classes. I'd never taken any of his classes, so I didn't know what type of trainer he was. I just assumed he was good, because he's always overbooked. So yesterday, the trainer who I love, who normally does my spin class, he hasn't been in. So this person was substituting, and I managed to get into the class. And so I'm finally like, oh, now I get to see what the hype is about. And I get there, and I'm just like, I do the class, and I'm just like, wow, that wasn't very good, like, that wasn't very good. And I realized, I began to tune into, I don't ever tap into a person's energy without their consent, but I began to like get these intuitive hits that led me into some of the stuff I'm going to share with you tonight. And that is that there are literally, and we already know this, like if you are a woman at a gym, you already know this. But Spirit kept on bringing it to me, like to the point where the past couple of days, I keep on getting these videos, like these shorts on YouTube, and even if I'm on TikTok, that's about just like shady behavior with male trainers, like going for certain girls. And I was just like, okay, so what are you trying to get at? Like, I already kind of know this. And what they were saying to me is that some of them actually literally, target certain individuals, certain, you know, female clientele, especially, not exclusively, but especially in order to lead them on. So when you're conducting a relationship with a personal trainer, it's interesting because on the one hand, you're dealing with someone who's telling you what to do with things with your body, but then there are lines, you know, that you can pick up and you can tell when someone is overtly flirting with you, but because you're dealing with a certain level of professionalism, it's easy to pull back on that and say, oh no, this is because I'm showing you this kind of thing. Anyway, what I was picking up on are these certain beings who are given these contracts, opportunities, call it what you want to call it, maybe to be influencers, I don't know, maybe within the gym itself. It's all about access and elevating or making money. It's what it always comes down to. And some of them have been actively involved in some of these covens, these groups, these rings that are targeting these gyms, especially around the time of the new and the full moon phases, in order to energy harvest. And I feel like this story is more significant for those of you who may have hooked up with one or may have been under the impression that one was your divine masculine. And here's the truth. They may have, if they had gotten their acts together and not been partaking in that kind of energy, they may have been supposed to be in some kind of divine contract with you, but they chose not to do that. So if that's something that is resonating with you, there's something that's this full moon in Aries is bringing to a close. It's bringing to an end. And for some of them, it's like they're losing that veil of illusion that they've been using to manipulate these women. Okay, a lot of them have been, I don't know how to explain it. It's that energy of, you know, that push and pull, that twin flame shit that people always get caught in. Does he like me? Does he not like me? Is he flirting with me? It's kind of keeping a person in that kind of energy in order to keep them on an emotional roller coaster, because in that state, it's easy to harness someone's energy. It's easy to control them. It's easy to control them emotionally because they know their effect on you, or they know that you're attracted to them, and they love to. And the reason I call it the yummy mummy crew is because they love to go after women who are vulnerable. You know, women who, and a lot of the time in gyms, there's a lot, I don't care how good the women and men look, there's a lot of vulnerability. There's a lot of vulnerable people there. There's a lot of people dealing with like a lot of body image issues that are trying to mask it by way of having the perfect physique, or, you know, there's a lot of that going on in gyms. And so this is why these groups, these covens, these orders want to get in there and to do this. And they've been utilizing certain, you know, and I'm not saying all trainers that act like this. Some of, you know, there are trainers who are very, you know, who are serious about their work, absolutely. And then there are some who, you know, they got into it in order to get laid. You know, you know it, like, you know it. You can tell from their vibe. Those are the ones that tend to be the ones that will target for this purpose. So if you were dealing with that kind of a situation, it might be coming to a close. Something might be shifting. Karma might be coming for that person. I just see like unmasking occurring, and unmasking, like someone who was using these tactics. And if you're still involved with that person, you're going to start seeing the truth of what it is, their manipulations, and what it is they've been trying to do all along. I hope that I delivered that, because I don't want to throw all trainers under the bus. I've worked with some really amazing trainers. I work with one, right, the one who wasn't there yesterday. He's an amazing trainer, but it doesn't negate the fact that that is the case. Another thing I wanted to to point out that I've been picking up in these energies is a lot of mirror magic. A lot of mirror magic. And what I was seeing more than anything was mirror box magic. I probably should have done this before I got into the trainer, but it's all good. So the mirror magic is when you utilize, so mirrors in general either reflect energy back, or they can actually increase energy. And mirrors can also cause, can magnify distortion and illusion, okay, which is why they're used. And what I was picking up on was an energy of someone's utilizing mirror box magic especially, but it doesn't have to be, but mirror box magic. And the reason they were showing it to me as a box was because this was some kind of trying to get someone back into a mental entrapment. And so they were using a container for that. And it's a mirror box. And in this mirror box, they have something that has something to do with the person that they're trying to control or to get back into the state. And so oftentimes it will be, you know, their name. It can be information about them. It can be literal, like your literal DNA if they're able to get it, which is why some of you with your gang stalkers deal with people going through your trash. Okay? As far as that is concerned, I suggest anything you throw away of a personal effect or anything that has your DNA, that you cast a spell over it. You, in other words, you command the energy of what it is that you want that thing to do, because it is yours, especially if it's your DNA. You command that energy, and you can put repercussions on what happens if people try to tamper with it. That's your energy. That's part of your energy. Your DNA is your energy, and people, beings, I don't care who they are or who they think they are, who try to fuck around with your DNA are violating universal laws. And you have every right to command that energy, and you have every right to state what the repercussions are for overstepping that within reason, for as long as you're not putting yourself in karmic debt. You get what I'm saying? And to that extent, you can work with guides, etc. But yeah, anyway, I won't get into that right now. But in this, what I was seeing was so some kind of representation of the person that they're trying to control was in the box. And the box is sealed off. And what this person was doing was speaking into this box. And in this box are mirrors that are turned in. And the mirrors turned in means that the mirrors are on this person, which means it increases the energy, it amplifies the energy, it creates distortion, illusions. It was it was a confusion spell with the purpose of, like I said, causing mental entrapment and causing containment. Containment, mental entrapment, and what was the other thing? Magnifying the illusion energies they need to keep the person or keep you stuck in the mental entrapment, and then speaking into the box, speaking into it, commanding the energy of your mental space. So trying to talk you out of your truth. So this might apply to you if over the past few days leading up to the full moon, or even in the aftermath of the equinox energies, and and then the days after the full moon, you have felt like you've had to consciously pull yourself back into your truth. Like, you know who you are, you know that certain thoughts coming your way don't line up with how far you've come. You feel like you're being dragged back into some bullshit. Okay? You might want to do some work around clearing that. Okay? Especially if when I said it, you resonated with it. But that's all the downloads I have around the trainer. For some of you, another message that was coming through, if you're vibing with a trainer message, this trainer who you thought was your divine masculine was using this push and pull scenario, like that you might have thought was a twin flame dynamic, the runner chaser push pull thing, right? Where they're just constantly shady as fuck and never can tell you exactly how it is they feel. You sense it, but they won't. And when you go towards them and you say something, they run away and act like you don't know what you're talking. Yeah, that kind of fuckery, in order to keep you on an emotional string where they can control you. It's a form of emotional manipulation and control, in order to control and master your energy instead of you doing that for yourself. If that was your situation, that person, there was a message coming through that some of them were connected to some kind of order, cult, whatever you want to call it, where they were utilizing sex magic also while doing this in order to keep you under some kind of illusion, especially like especially if this person you were highly attracted to them and there was a lot of sexual chemistry, a lot of sexual energy. This person, for all intensive purposes, was like, I was picking up on prostitution vibes, but they were telling me this person wasn't a literal prostitute, but they were engaging in orgies and all manner of things, thinking that it was their ticket up. There's something about gaining more influence, being more seen, like something about that, and utilizing and doing this and thinking in the beginning, oh, this is fun, and they're the man because they get to do this and to emotionally manipulate women, and maybe they didn't know fully how this whole energy harvesting thing worked, but they still were consciously aware that they had to do this back and forth thing with you, and then participate in these crazy sex rituals. So if you were tied to a person in that way also, there's something here that's shifting or coming to an end or being exposed. Okay? Those of you, my females, do your sacral and your womb chakra clearing and cleansing of all of this shit. Okay? What else? I think that's it. That's it, yeah. Keep on clearing and cleansing and doing what you have to do, because these energies are persistent. They're supposed to be persistent. I want to remind you, for those of you who've been through the ringer through this full moon, that they only come hard at you when you are on the edge of some kind of a breakthrough. And that's the truth. Again, like I said to you before, when you are about to timeline jump, they will utilize the chaos and the conflict and the vulnerable state that you're in that's supposed to enable your ability to jump. They will use it to try to program you back into a lower state so that you don't make that timeline. But we're not doing that this time around. You jumping, okay? You jumping. I've been picking up on a lot of Neptune energy, okay? There's a lot of Neptune energy that's supporting us right now. I don't know in what way yet. I haven't really tuned into it. When I think of Neptune for myself, I think about hope. I think about connecting to the dream. I think about divine contracts and divine love and divine realities that we've been made to feel are fantasy or out of the way. That's what I think about. So for that Neptune energy to keep coming through, there's something that some of you, you know in your soul that it's real, that it's possible, but because of the programming, you go back and forth, you teeter back and forth with it, like thinking, it's too good to be true, it's a dream, etc., etc. There's something here where you need to grab a hold of the vastness of who you are and the possibility and the infinite possibilities of what can occur in your reality, that you are not limited by a lot of these things that we've been programmed to believe. The only reason we've been limited into these boxes or into even time and space and all of this, the only reason we've been limited in this way is because we've believed it and we fed it as a collective and we've made it true. So what happens when you stop believing in these lies just because you see them and you start connecting to these really expansive energies that you've been told are impossible, but in your soul, in your heart, you know that's not the case. Yep. Take control of your thoughts. whatever it is that's been going on has been wanting. It's like I said with that mirror magic, it's like mental enslavement. It's all about getting you to not align your own mental and emotional energies with where you need to be in order to take that jump. At the bottom, we do have it's time to play. The playing energy is important here because when we play, we disconnect from the mental fuckery. We disconnect from those energies that the constant ruminating, the constant catastrophizing, the constant being in our heads. It's a way for us to connect with our inner child. It's a way for us to access joy very easily. And it's through the accessing of joy, those higher vibrating energies, that we are able to jump, right? So this is a message for some of you. Y'all need to get out of your head and into your hearts, but not just into your hearts. You need to just get out and have fun. You need to get out and play. You need to do things that don't make you think about your current situation or any impossibility you may find yourself in. You need to connect with the energy that they don't want you to be in. 2121. They don't want you. These energies, these beings, factions, groups, corporations, individuals, whoever it is, they don't want you connecting with that energy of being relaxed and carefree. This is why they want you in the state of worry. The state of worry makes you ripe for harvesting. Like I said before, it helps to destabilize your root. I don't think I want to go into too many more cards because we're already an hour in. Let's get one more message for you, and then I'm going to get going because I got a date with my kiddos. Where do you want me to go? Where do you want me to go? Where do you want me to go? Let's go into the do you believe in magic? It is time to believe in what they've said is magic. Oops. I want to remind you also that nobody has more command over your energy than you. And whenever you believe that somebody or something is more powerful than you, that's where it gets the power to do these things to you. And this is where they want you falling into states of believing that because something is affecting you, that it's more powerful than you. And that's a lie. And at every turn, you must combat that lie and you must bring forth the truth. And that's the truth. That's the truth, that there is nothing that can wield more power and command over your energy than you, but you must believe that to be true. Okay, confidence, you see, confidence comes with time and practice. It's time to practice that. I yell at these energies all day. I cuss them out. I tell them about who they are. I feel nothing about doing it anymore because, and it's not that I don't have my human moments, but the fact of the matter is, I know who I am and I know what I've had to go through and the battles I've had to wage and fight to even begin to touch that remembrance. Nothing and nobody and no one is going to take that away from me ever again. So I fight. Sometimes, some days, that's all I can do is fight, and it has to be enough. It has to be enough. Gray, endings are inevitable. I'm telling you, something is coming to a close for many of you. There's some kind of grand wrapping up. And this is why, if this is your message, the challenges come in. They will always fight you the hardest when you are ascending, when you're making a leap. This eclipse season is bringing in some very interesting changes for all of us, you know, for every being on this planet. And how it manifests in your reality is going to be dependent on where you are on your healing journey, whether it's, bringing endings in your mental body, your emotional body, your physical reality. It can occur spiritually, It can occur on different planes or many planes at once. It's all dependent, again, upon your own healing journey, where you are, and what you're due in terms of the activations due to your own personal timelines, etc. So practice telling these energies where they can go. Practice telling these energies who you are and who they're not. Okay, so that's what I have for you. That's what I have. If you would like to work with me or avail yourself of, like I said, the discount, the October discount that I told you about at the beginning, then you can do so by, I first invite you to go and check out my website, So-La-Rah with an H.info. It also will be in the description box below. Please realize that I only take bookings via email. You can email me directly through my site, through the Contact Me page, or you can do so separately through my Gmail account, dailyalkhemy with a K @gmail.com. That information is also in the description box below. What else? I think that's it. If you would like to donate to the channel or to my work, you can always do so through my PayPal. That information is in the description box below. I will be returning to doing some writing for those of you who are former members of the Daily Alchemy portal, so stay tuned for that announcement. But this is where I'm going to love you, and I'll see you again soon. I wish you guys so much love, joy, peace, bliss, harmony, every beautiful thing under the sun, which when you are walking in alignment with your truth and living in that truth and in your power, it is ultimately already yours. Okay, so I'll see you again soon. Take care.